Captain Veltar pressed his hands against the cold metal of his ship's control panel. His blue skin was covered in bright spots that flashed like warning lights. The spots always lit up when he was scared, and right now he was very scared. Wind Whisper was his ship. It was a good ship, built for exploring new worlds and carrying families to new homes. But it was not built for fighting. The ship had tools for digging and building, not weapons for war. Now 6 enemy ships surrounded them like hungry wolves around a wounded deer. These were Korthic ships, and the Korthic were bad news. They were big, mean, and loved to hurt others. Their ships were black and covered with spikes. Each ship had enough weapons to destroy a small moon. "Captain, they are getting closer," said Lieutenant Zarani. She was young, and her voice shook with fear. Her spots were flashing red and orange, colors that meant danger in their language. Veltar looked at the screen that showed the space around. Them, the 6 black ships were moving in a circle, getting tighter and tighter. Soon they would be close enough to board his ship. He thought about the 43 people on his ship. Most were families with children. They had come on this trip to start new lives on a far planet. Now they might all die. "Send out a call for help," Veltar ordered. "Use all the emergency channels. Send it to everyone." Zarani worked fast on her controls. "What should I say?" "Captain, tell them we need help. Tell them we have civilians. Tell them the Korthic are here." The message went out into space, traveling faster than light to anyone who might be listening. Most ships would not come. The Korthic were too strong, too mean. Most people just ran away when they heard that name. Minutes passed. The Korthic ships moved closer. Veltar could see the details on their hulls now. He could see the weapon ports opening like hungry mouths, and the communication system made a sound. Someone was answering their call. "Wind Whisper, this is Lieutenant Jake Morrison of the U.East Nightfall. We got your message. Help is coming." Veltar felt a small hope in his chest. But then he realized something strange. The voice was calm. Too calm. When people heard about the Korthic, they usually sounded scared or worried. This human sounded like he was ordering food at a restaurant. "Lieutenant Morrison, thank you for answering," Veltar said. "But you should know what you are facing. There are 6 Korthic heavy cruisers here. They have many weapons. They are very dangerous. You should bring a big fleet." There was a short pause. Then the human spoke again. "We understand the situation, Captain. We are sending a kill team. We will be there in 12 minutes. Zarani looked confused. Her spots changed to yellow, which meant she was thinking hard. "Captain," he said, "kill team, not rescue team. And our sensors only show 1 human ship coming this way." Veltar stared. At the screen, 1 ship against 6 Korthic cruisers. It was impossible. The human ship would be destroyed in seconds. He had heard stories about humans. They were new to space travel. Most aliens thought they were interesting, but not very strong. They were small compared to many species. They had no natural armor or claws. Some people said they were clever, but cleverness would not stop Korthic. "PLA semicannons." "Lieutenant Morrison," Veltar said, trying to keep his voice steady. "1 ship cannot fight 6 Korthic cruisers. They will destroy you. You should run away and get help." "Negative, Wind Whisper. We do not abandon people who need help. Just stay alive for 12 more minutes." The communication ended. Veltar looked around his bridge. His crew was staring at him with big eyes. They all knew what this meant. The humans were coming to die with them. It was brave, but it was also pointless. "Captain," said Corvin, his science officer, "I am reading the human ship on sensors now. It is small, maybe half the size of 1 Korthic cruiser. It has some weapons, but not many compared to what is coming for us." Veltar nodded sadly. He walked to the communication panel and opened a channel to his whole ship. "This is your captain speaking. Human help is coming, but we must be realistic. We should prepare for the worst. All families should go to the safe rooms in the center of the ship. All crew should be ready for emergency procedures." He could hear people moving through his ship. Parents were talking softly to their children. Crew members were checking emergency systems. Everyone was trying to be brave, but he could smell their fear in the air. Another message came from the Korthic ships. The voice was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. "Little blue people, you have called for help. Good. We like it when our prey fights back. It makes the hunt more fun. When your friends arrive, we will kill them first. Then we will take you alive. You will make good slaves." The Korthic laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Then the message ended. Veltar felt sick. The humans were coming to help, but they were just giving the Korthic more victims. He wished he could tell them to stay away, but it was too late. The human ship was already close. "Captain, the human ship just dropped out of hyperspace," Zarani reported. They are really small." On the main screen, Veltar could see the human ship. It was dark gray and smooth, not like the spiky Korthic ships. It looked fast but fragile. Next to the massive Korthic cruisers, it looked like a small fish swimming towards 6 sharks. "They are brave," Corvin said quietly. "Stupid, but brave." Veltar watched as the human ship moved toward the Korthic formation. He expected it to start shooting right away, to try to damage one ship before being destroyed. But instead, something strange happened. The human ship sent a message to the Korthic fleet. Veltar could hear it on the open channel. "Korthic vessels. This is Captain Alex Carter of the United Earth Space Command. You have 60 seconds to leave this system. This is your only warning." The bridge of the Wind Whisper went completely quiet. Everyone stared at the screen in shock. One small human ship was giving orders to 6 massive Korthic war cruisers. It was like watching a mouse threaten 6 lions. The Korthic leader appeared on the screen. He was huge and covered in dark scales. His teeth were like knives, and his eyes glowed red. When he smiled, it was a terrible thing to see. "Little human," the Korthic said, "you have made a mistake. We are going to enjoy killing you very slowly. But first, we will make you watch as we take these blue people apart piece by piece." The human captain appeared on screen too. He was older, with gray hair and calm eyes. When he smiled back at the Korthic, something about it made Veltar feel cold. 60 seconds, the human said again. Then he cut off the communication. Veltar counted the seconds in his head. What would happen when the minute was up? Would the small human ship really attack 6 cruisers? It seemed impossible. But as he watched, he noticed something. The human ship was not just sitting there waiting. It was moving in a strange pattern, almost like it was dancing through space. And there was something else, something that made him feel a tiny bit of hope that the human ship was not acting like it was going to die. It was acting like it was going to win. Captain Alex Carter stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the enemy. 6 big black ships surrounded one small blue and white ship. He had seen this before. Pirates always used the same tricks. They picked on the weak and ran away from the strong. But today they had made a mistake. They had hurt innocent people, and humans did not like that. "Lisa, what do you see?" Carter asked his weapons officer. Corporal Lisa Davis looked at her screens. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. She had done this many times before. 6 heavy cruisers, sir. They are using pack hunting formation. Looks like they want to capture the alien ship, not destroy it. They want prisoners. Carter nodded. This was good news. If the Korthic wanted to destroy the Zephyrian ship, they would have done it already. This meant they had time to work. "Sam, get me a line to those Korthik ships," Carter ordered. Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez worked at his station. Soon the main screen showed the face of the Korthik leader. The alien was big and ugly, with teeth like broken glass and eyes like red fire. When he spoke, his voice was like thunder. "You dare to interrupt our hunt, little mammal? Turn away now, or die with these weaklings." Carter looked at the alien and smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the kind of smile a shark might have. "This is Captain Alex Carter of the United Earth Space Command. You have 60 seconds to leave this system. This is your only warning." The Korthik leader laughed. The sound was like breaking rocks. "One tiny ship against 6 of our finest warships? You humans are either very brave or very stupid." 60 seconds, Carter said again. Then he cut the communication. On his bridge, his crew was already working. They had done this dance before. Every person knew their job, and every person was good at it. "Kate, take us in," Carter said to his pilot. Sergeant Kate Williams sat at the flight controls. Her hands were steady as rock. She had been flying ships since she was 18 years old. Now she was 35, and she could make a spaceship do things that seemed impossible. The Nightfall began to move. It did not charge straight at the enemy, like most ships would. Instead, it began to dance. The ship spun and twisted through space like a leaf in the wind. It moved between the Korthik ships, never staying in one place long enough for them to get a good shot. On the Wind Whisper, Captain Veltar watched in amazement. How are they moving like that? That should be impossible for a ship that size. His science officer, Corvin, was studying his instruments. "Captain, I think I understand. Human ships are built differently than ours. Look at the engine placement. Look at how they balance the weight. This ship was designed to move like a fighter, not like a cruiser. The Korthik ships were trying to follow the human ship, but they were too slow. They were big and powerful, but they moved like ancient beasts. The human ship moved like a hunting cat." "All stations prepare for combat," Carter announced. His voice was calm, like he was ordering lunch. "Show them what a human kill team looks like." The word kill team had confused the Zephyrians, but Carter's crew knew exactly what it meant. Other species had rescue teams. They had ships that came to save people and then ran away. Humans were different. When humans came to rescue someone, they did not just save them. They made sure the threat was gone forever. "Weapons hot," reported Lisa Davis. "All systems ready." The Nightfall had weapons that most aliens had never seen before. While other species made 1 or 2 big guns, humans made many small ones. While other species relied on energy shields, humans relied on not being where the enemy thought they were. The first Korthik ship fired at the Nightfall. Bright red plasma bolts filled the space where the human ship had been a second before. But the ship was already somewhere else, spinning around the Korthik formation. Like a metal moon dot, then the Nightfall fired back. The sound was different from the Korthik weapons. Instead of the whoosh of plasma, there was a sharp crack that went through space. Metal slugs, each one moving faster than most spaceships, hit the lead Korthik cruiser. The slugs were small, but they were moving so fast that they went through the Korthik shields like they were not there. They punched holes in the enemy ships' armor and kept going, tearing through the inside of the ship. "First blood," Davis reported. "Enemy ship is hurt, but still fighting." But the humans were not done. As the Korthik ships moved to surround the smaller human ship, they made another mistake. They moved into the debris field around the Wind Whisper. "Ben, light them up," Carter ordered. Specialist Ben Collins smiled as he pressed his controls. "Mines." "Away, sir." The Korthik had thought the debris around the Zephyrian ship was just space junk, broken pieces of old ships and rocks from asteroids. They were wrong. Hidden in the debris were dozens of small objects that looked like junk, but were really weapons. Each one had a small engine and a big explosive charge. When Ben pressed his button, they all came alive at once. The space around 3 of the Korthik ships suddenly filled with explosions. The small mines moved like angry wasps, each one looking for the best place to sting. They found weak spots in the armor and exploded, sending pieces of metal flying through space. 2 of the Korthik ships stopped moving. Their engines were dead, and their weapons were offline. The 3rd ship was still alive, but badly hurt. On the Wind Whisper, Zara and I stared at her screens. "Captain, how did they know to put mines there? We only called for help 20 minutes ago." Veltar was thinking the same thing. They could not have prepared this trap. They did not know we would be here. Corvin looked up from his station. His spots were flashing with excitement. "Captain, I do not think this was a trap they prepared for us. I think this is just how humans fight. They are always ready for anything." The remaining Korthik ships were now afraid. Their leader came on the communication channel again. This time he did not sound so confident. Impossible. How can one small ship carry so many weapons? "What kind of monsters are you?" Carter appeared on the screen again. He still looked calm, but now there was something cold in his eyes. "We are the kind of monsters that protect innocent people from bullies like you." The Korthik leader was getting angry. "You think you have won? We still have 3 ships left. We will crush you." "No," Carter said quietly. "You will not." At that moment, the Nightfall stopped dancing. It hung in space for just a second, pointing directly at the lead Korthik ship. Then it fired everything it had. The space between the ships filled with light. Metal slugs, missiles, and energy beams all flew toward the Korthik cruiser at the same time. The enemy ship's shields flashed and sparked as they tried to stop the attack. But there was too much coming at them. The shields failed. The hull cracked. The ship began to break apart. "That is 2 down," Davis reported. 3 left, and they are trying to run. Carter watched the remaining Korthik ships turning away from the battle. They were trying to escape, but he had no intention of letting them go. If they escaped, they would just find other innocent people to hurt. "Kate, stay with them. Do not let them get away." "Yes, sir," Williams replied. Her fingers moved over the controls, and the Nightfall began to chase the fleeing ships. On the Wind Whisper, Veltar could not believe what he was seeing. In less than 10 minutes, one small human ship destroyed or disabled 4 of the 6 Korthik cruisers. The remaining 2 were running away like scared animals, but the humans were not done hunting. "This is not possible," Veltar whispered. "How can they be so good at fighting?" Corvin was studying the human ship with all his instruments. "Captain, I think I am beginning to understand. Look at how they move. Look at how they think. This is not just one ship fighting. This is a pack hunting together." "But there is only one ship," Zarani said. "No," Corvin replied. "There is one ship, but many minds working as one. They think like predators. They plan like hunters. And they do not stop until the threat is gone." As if to prove his point, the Nightfall launched 6 small ships from its belly. Each one was tiny compared to the big cruisers, but they moved like arrows through space. The hunt was about to continue. The 6 small ships that came out of the Nightfall moved like living things. Each one was barely bigger than a fighter, but they flew with purpose and skill. Lieutenant Chris Blake led the group, his ship cutting through space like a knife through water. "Hunter 6 to Nightfall," Blake said into his radio. "We see both targets. They are running fast." Captain Carter's voice came back clear and calm. "You are free to hunt, Hunter 6. Show them why humans do not let pirates escape." Blake smiled. Inside his helmet, he had been waiting for this moment. The Korthik thought they could hurt innocent people and then run away when real fighters showed up. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The two remaining Korthik ships were big and fast, but they were also damaged. The mines had hurt them, and they were leaking air and fuel into space. They were like wounded animals trying to escape from a pack of wolves, but the human pilots were not wolves. They were something much more dangerous. They were hunters who thought and planned and worked together like parts of one big machine. "Split formation," Blake ordered. "Team Alpha takes the left ship. Team Beta takes the right ship. Remember the plan." The 6 ships divided into 2 groups of 3. They did not chase their targets in straight lines, like normal fighters would. Instead, they spread out and began to surround their prey. On the Wind Whisper, Veltar watched the hunt begin. "They are not attacking," he said, confused. "Why are they not shooting?" Corvin studied his screens carefully. "They are thinking, Captain. Look at how they move. They are cutting off escape routes. They are pushing the enemy ships where they want them to go." The human pilots worked together like they could read each other's minds. When one ship moved left, another moved right. When one ship climbed up, another dove down. They were like dancers performing a deadly dance that they had practiced 1,000 times. The first Korthik ship tried to turn and fight. It spun around and fired its big guns at the nearest human fighter. Red plasma bolts filled the space between the ships, bright and hot enough to melt metal. But the human ship was not there anymore. It had slipped away at the last second, and now it was behind the Korthik ship, firing its own weapons at the enemy's engines. The human guns were different from anything the Korthik had seen. They fired solid metal bullets instead of energy beams. The bullets were small, but they moved so fast that they hit harder than plasma bolts. They punched through the Korthik ship's armor like it was made of paper. "Target 1 is losing power," reported Lieutenant Sarah Kim, Blake's wingman. "Their main engine is dead." "Good work, Sarah. Keep them busy while we set up the final move." The wounded Korthik ship was now helpless. It could still turn and shoot, but it could not run away. The 3 human fighters circled it like sharks around a wounded fish. Meanwhile, the second team was dealing with the other Korthik ship. This one was smarter and more careful. Its captain knew he was outnumbered, so he was trying a different plan. He was heading for the edge of the star system, where he could jump to hyperspace and escape. But the humans had thought of this too. "Team Beta, push him toward the asteroid field," Blake ordered. "Do not let him reach open space." The 3 ships of Team Beta began to herd the Korthik ship like cowboys herding cattle. Every time the enemy ship tried to turn toward open space, one of the human ships would appear in front of it, firing warning shots. Every time it tried to slow down, another human ship would attack its rear. Slowly but surely, the Korthik ship was being pushed toward a field of floating rocks. The asteroids were big and dangerous, full of metal ore that would tear apart any ship that hit them. "This is clever," Veltar said as he watched. "They are using the asteroids as a trap." "More than that," Corvin replied. "Look at the way they fly. They know exactly where every rock is. They have mapped the whole field in their computers. The Korthik ship is flying blind, but the humans can see everything." The Korthik captain realized the trap too late. He tried to turn away from the asteroid field, but now he was surrounded. Human ships were above him, below him, and on both sides. No matter which way he turned, there were enemies waiting. "Korthik vessel," Blake said on the open radio channel. "You are surrounded. Shut down your weapons and surrender." The answer came back in the form of plasma fire. The Korthik captain would rather die fighting than give up. It was exactly what Blake had expected. All ships, weapons free. "Take him." Down. The 3 human fighters attacked from different directions at the same time. Their bullets tore through the Korthik ship's shields and armor. Explosions bloomed along the enemy ship's hull like deadly flowers, but the Korthik ship was still dangerous. Its captain managed to get one of the human fighters in his sights. The big plasma cannon swung around and fired. Lieutenant Mark Johnson saw the shot coming. His ship was fast, but not fast enough to dodge completely. The plasma bolt caught his left wing and tore it off. His ship began to spin out of control. "Mark is hit," Sarah Kim shouted into her radio. "He is going down." "Negative." Johnson's voice came back, steady despite his damaged ship. "I am still in the fight. Give me 30 seconds to get stable." This was another thing that amazed the watching aliens. Most species would panic if their ship was damaged. They would run away or call for help. But the human pilot just kept fighting. Even with half his ship gone, Johnson used his remaining engine to steady his spin. Then he pointed his damaged ship straight at the Korthik cruiser and fired everything he had left. His ship was dying, but he was going to make sure his enemy died first. The Korthik ship tried to turn away, but it was too late. Johnson's final attack hit the enemy ship's power core. There was a bright flash, and then the Korthik ship broke. "Apart like a toy. Target 2 is down," Blake reported. "Mark, are you okay?" "I will live," Johnson replied. "But I am going to need a ride home." Blake looked back at the first Korthik ship. It was still alive but helpless, floating in space with dead engines and broken weapons. The 3 human fighters surrounded it like guards around a prisoner. "Korthik vessel, this is your last chance," Blake said. "Surrender now or join your friends." This time, the Korthik captain was smart enough to give up. "We surrender," he said. His voice was full of hate, but also fear. "Do not destroy us." "Drop your shields and prepare to be boarded," Blake ordered. "Try anything stupid, and we will turn you into space dust." The battle was over. In less than an hour, 6 human ships had destroyed 5 Korthik cruisers and captured the 6th. It was the kind of victory that songs would be written about. On the Wind Whisper, Veltar sat in his captain's chair and tried to understand what he had seen. His people were peaceful. They avoided fights when they could. When they had to fight, it was usually clumsy and desperate. But the humans fought like it was an art. Every move had a purpose. Every shot was aimed with care. They worked together so well that it seemed like magic. "Captain," Zarani said quietly, "I am getting a message from the human ship." Captain Carter appeared on the main screen. He looked exactly the same as he had at the beginning of the fight. Calm, professional, and slightly tired, like he had just finished a routine job. "Wind Whisper, this is Captain Carter. Are any of your people hurt? Do you need medical help?" Veltar found his voice. "No, Captain Carter. We are all safe, thanks to you. But I must ask, how did you do this? How did 6 small ships defeat an entire Korthik raiding fleet?" Carter smiled, and this time it was a kind smile, not the cold one he had shown the Korthik. "Captain Veltar, space is a dangerous place. There are always people like the Korthik out there, looking to hurt innocent folks. We learned a long time ago that the best way to protect people is to be ready for anything. But the coordination, the planning, the way your people fought together, it was like watching a pack of predators." "That is not far from the truth," Carter admitted. "Humans are persistence hunters, Captain. Back on our home world, we learned to work together to bring down threats much bigger than ourselves. When someone threatens innocent lives, we respond with everything we have." Veltar thought about this. "You called it a kill team, not a rescue team." "That is right," Carter said. "Other species send rescue teams to save people and then run away. Humans send kill teams. We save the innocent, and we make sure the threat cannot hurt anyone else." As the human ships prepared to leave, Veltar made a decision that would change his life. He opened a channel to his home world and began to record a message. "This is Captain Veltar of the exploration ship Wind Whisper. I am sending this message to the High Council and to all ships in our fleet. Today, we were saved by humans. Not just rescued, but saved in a way that means the threat is gone forever. I recommend that we make formal contact with the human government. These are people we want as friends, not enemies." The message would reach his home world in 3 days. Within a week, the first Zephyrian ambassador would be on his way to Earth. The galaxy was about to discover that sometimes when you call for help, you do not get a rescue team. Sometimes you get something much better. The last Korthic ship floated in space like a broken toy. Its weapons were dead, its engines were cold, and its crew was trapped inside their own ship. But Captain Carter was not finished with them yet. "Lisa, scan that ship," Carter ordered. "I want to know everything about it." Corporal Lisa Davis worked at her station, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. "Sir, I am reading 43 life signs aboard the enemy ship. Most of them are in the crew areas, but I am also detecting some different life signs in hive. What looks like cargo holds." Carter's face went hard. "Prisoners?" "Yes, sir. At least 12 different species. Some of the readings suggest they have been there for weeks." The bridge of the Nightfall went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. The Korthic were not just raiders who attacked ships for money. They were slavers who stole people and sold them. Like animals. "Ben, target their life support systems," Carter said, his voice cold as space. "Give them just enough air to stay alive, but make it uncomfortable." Specialist Ben Collins smiled grimly as he worked his controls. "Shutting down their main air recycling, sir. They will be breathing their own stink in about 10 minutes. Carter opened a channel to the captured Korthic ship. The face that appeared. On screen was the war leader who had been so confident earlier. Now he looked scared and angry. "What do you want, human?" The Korthic snarled. "We surrendered. By galactic law, you must treat us fairly." "By galactic law," Carter replied, "slavers have no rights. You have prisoners on your ship, people you stole from their families and homes. That makes you pirates and kidnappers, not soldiers." The Korthic leader's face changed. He knew he had been caught. "Those are not prisoners. They are ... workers. They agreed to come with us." "Workers who are locked in cargo holds with no windows and no bathrooms?" Carter asked. "Workers who are chained to the walls? Do not lie to me. I can see everything on your ship." Lieutenant Jake Morrison, who had first answered the Zephyrian distress call, stepped forward. "Captain, the Korthic ship is requesting permission to leave the system. They say they will release their prisoners at the next spaceport." Carter laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Tell them no. Tell them they are going nowhere until every single prisoner is safely returned to their home worlds." The Korthic leader was getting desperate. "You cannot do this. We are citizens of the Korthic Republic. Our government will demand our release." "Your government can demand whatever it wants," Carter replied. "But first, you are going to help us free those people you kidnapped. And then you are going to tell us where you got them, so we can make sure their families know they are safe." The human captain cut the communication and turned to his crew. "Sam, get me a line to Earth Command. Tell them we need a prisoner transport. Ship and a diplomatic team. We are going to have a lot of people who need to get home." "Yes, sir," Rodriguez replied. "Should I also request backup? The Korthic might send more ships when they find out what happened here." Carter thought about this for a moment. "No. If more Korthic ships come, we will deal with them the same way we dealt with these. But send a message to all human ships in this sector. Tell them to keep their eyes open for Korthic raiders. It seems like we have found a new hobby." On the Wind Whisper, Captain Veltar was listening to the human communications. His translator was working hard to keep up with all the human words, but he understood enough to be amazed. "They are not just going to rescue the prisoners," he said. To his crew, "They are going to take them home. All of them." Zarani looked at her captain. "Sir, that could take months. Some of those prisoners might be from star systems hundreds of light years away." "I know," Veltar replied. "But the humans do not seem to care how long it takes or how much it costs. They are going to do the right thing." Corvin was studying the human ship with his instruments. "Captain, I am detecting more activity on the Nightfall. It looks like they are preparing to launch shuttles." As they watched, 2 small shuttles came out of the human ship. Each one was loaded with medical supplies and rescue equipment. They flew carefully to the disabled Korthik ship and docked with its airlocks. "This is Sergeant Amanda Price, leading Rescue Team Alpha," came a voice over the radio. "We are going aboard the enemy ship to help the prisoners. If anyone tries to stop us, they will regret it." The humans who went aboard the Korthik ship were not the same people who had fought the battle. These were medics and rescue specialists, trained to help hurt and scared people. But they were still armed and ready to fight if they had to. Within an hour, the first prisoners were being brought to the human shuttles. They were members of different alien species, all of them thin and scared and dirty. Some could barely walk. Others cried when they saw the sunlight again. The humans treated each prisoner with gentle care. They gave them food and water and clean clothes. They spoke softly and moved slowly, trying not to scare people who had been hurt for so long. "This is Dr. Helen Moore," came another voice from the shuttles. "I need medical teams standing by. Some of these people are in bad shape. They have been prisoners for months." Captain Carter watched the rescue operation from his bridge. His face was calm, but his eyes were angry. He had seen slavers before, and he hated them more than any other kind of criminal. "Sir," Lisa Davis said from her station, "I am reading some interesting data from the Korthik ship's computers. It looks like this was not their only raid. They have records of attacks on 17 different systems in the past 6 months. 17 systems." Carter repeated. "How many prisoners total?" "At least 300 people, sir. Maybe more." Carter was quiet for a long moment. Then he made a decision that would echo through the galaxy for years to come. "Sam, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we need a full battle fleet out here. We are not just dealing with one group of raiders. This is a whole network of slavers, and we are going to shut it down." "A full fleet, sir?" Rodriguez asked. "That is a lot of ships. These Korthik think they can steal people and sell them like animals," Carter replied. "They are about to learn what happens when you make humans angry. We are going to hunt down every single slaver ship in this sector and shut them down permanently." The rescue operation continued for several hours. More shuttles came from the Nightfall, carrying supplies and medical equipment. The humans worked with calm efficiency, treating each rescued prisoner like they were saving their own family members. Dr. Moore appeared on the communication screen, her face tired but determined. "Captain, we have rescued 47 prisoners from 12 different species. Most of them are in stable condition, but they will need weeks of medical care and counseling." "Do what you need to do, Doctor," Carter replied. "Cost is not an issue. These people have been through enough." On the Wind Whisper, Veltar watched the humans work. His own people were generous and kind, but he had never seen anything like this. The humans were spending their own money and time to help people they had never met before. "Captain," Zarani said softly, "why are they doing this? The prisoners are not human. They do not owe them anything." Veltar thought about this question. He had been wondering the same thing. "I think," he said slowly, "that humans believe all thinking beings deserve to be free. It does not matter what species you are or where you come from. If someone hurts you, the humans will help you. Corvin looked up from his instruments. Sir, I am detecting more ships approaching. 3 vessels, coming fast. Everyone on the bridge. Tensed up. Were more Korthic ships coming for revenge? But the ships that appeared were not Korthic. They were human vessels, sleek and fast like the nightfall. They had come in response to Carter's call for help. This is Captain Diana Ross of the U.E.'s Falcon, came a new voice over the radio. We got your message about slavers, Alex. What do you need? Carter smiled for the first time since the battle began. Diana, good to see you. We have prisoners to transport and a network to shut down. Are you ready for a hunting trip? Always ready, Ross replied. My crew has been looking for some excitement. The 3rd ship was commanded by Captain Tony Lee of the U.E.'s Eagle. Alex, we brought medical supplies and extra crew. Where do you want us to start? Tony, help Dr. Moore with the prisoners. Diana, I want you to interrogate the Korthic captain. Find out where their base is and how many more ships they have. We are going to end this operation once and for all. As the 3 human ships worked together, Veltar began to understand something important. This was not just one ship that had come to help. This was part of something bigger. The humans had built a network of ships and crews that could respond to emergencies anywhere in the galaxy. They are not just soldiers, he said to his crew. They are guardians. They have made it their job to protect people who cannot protect themselves. The interrogation of the Korthic captain did not take long. Faced with 3 human ships and no hope of escape, he told them everything. The location of their base, the names of their allies, the routes they used to transport prisoners. Captain. Ross appeared on the communication screen, her face grim. Alex, you are not going to like this. They have a base in the Dark Star Nebula with at least 20 ships. They have been operating for over 2 years, and they have sold more than 1,000 prisoners. 1,000 people, Carter said quietly. That ends now. He opened a channel to all 3 human ships. All Capta. 3 weeks later, Captain Veltar sat in his ready room aboard the Wind Whisper, reading reports from across the galaxy. The news was spreading fast, carried by traders and diplomats to every corner of known space. The humans had done exactly what they promised. They had found the Korthic slaver base in the Dark Star Nebula and destroyed it completely. 23 enemy ships had been captured or destroyed. Over 800 prisoners had been rescued and were being returned to their home worlds. That was not the end of the story. The humans had found something else in the Korthic computers. The slavers were not working alone. They were part of a bigger organization that included pirates and criminals from 6 different species. So the humans had kept hunting. Captain, came Zerani's voice over the intercom. You have a call from Earth. It is Ambassador Patricia White. Veltar. Press the accept button, and the screen showed a middle-aged human woman with kind eyes and silver hair. She was sitting in what looked like an office with windows that showed the blue sky of Earth. Captain Veltar, Ambassador White said with a smile. I wanted to thank you personally for what you did 3 weeks ago. Thank me? Veltar was confused. Ambassador, your people saved us. I should be thanking you. Captain, when you called for help, you gave us the chance to stop something terrible. Because of your distress call, we discovered a criminal network that had been hurting innocent people for years. Your courage to reach out for help saved thousands of lives. Veltar thought about this. He had never considered that calling for help could be an act of courage. To him, it had just been the smart thing to do. Ambassador, I must ask you something. Why did your people do so much? You could have just scared away the Korthic ships and left. Instead, you spent weeks hunting down criminals and returning prisoners to their homes. Why? Ambassador White was quiet for a moment, thinking about how to answer. Captain, Humans believe that freedom is the most important thing in the universe. When we see someone taking that freedom away from others, we cannot just ignore it. We have to act. But the cost, Veltar said. Your government must have spent millions of credits on fuel and supplies and medical care. And your soldiers risked their lives fighting criminals who are not threatening Earth. Captain, let me tell you something about humans, the ambassador replied. We learned long ago that evil spreads when good people do nothing. If we ignore criminals in one part of the galaxy, they will eventually come to our part. It is better to stop them early, before they get stronger. After the call ended, Veltar walked to his bridge. His crew was busy with their normal duties, but he could see they were different now. They stood a little straighter, spoke a little more confidently. They had been through something that changed them. Captain, Corvin said from his side station, I have been monitoring the galactic news networks. The story of our rescue is being told on over 300 worlds. What are they saying? Veltar asked. Most of them are amazed, Corvin replied. They cannot believe that one human ship defeated 6 Korthic cruisers. But some of the stories are about more than just the battle. They are talking about what the humans did afterward. Zarani looked up from her station. Captain, I have been reading the prisoner rescue reports. The humans did not just drop the rescued people off at the nearest spaceport. They took each one back to their homeworld personally. Some of those trips took weeks. Veltar nodded. This was what impressed him most about the humans. They did not just solve the immediate problem and leave. They made sure every person was truly safe and cared for. Sir, Corvin said, I am receiving a priority message from the High Council on our home world. The message was from Elder Trendau, the leader of the Zephyrian government. His old face looked serious as he spoke. Captain Veltar, your report about the human rescue has caused much discussion among the Council. We have decided to send a formal embassy to Earth. We want to establish diplomatic relations with the human government. This was big news. The Zephyrians were careful about making alliances. They had been neutral in most galactic politics for over a century. More than that, the Elder continued, we want to propose a new kind of agreement. The humans have shown that they will protect innocent people, even when it costs them money and puts their own people in danger. We want to support this work. Veltar smiled. His people might be peaceful, but they were not naive. They understood that the galaxy was a dangerous place, and they wanted to help make it safer. Over the following days, more messages came from other species. The Androni Trade Federation wanted to hire human ships to protect their merchant fleets. The Silktar Republic offered to share their medical technology with human doctors. The Vorthan Commonwealth proposed joint military exercises, but the most surprising message came from an unexpected source. Captain, Zarani said one morning, we are receiving a transmission from a Korthic ship. Veltar tensed up. Were more raiders coming for revenge? But the face that appeared on the screen was not a war leader. It was a younger Korthic with different markings, and he looked nervous but determined. I am Sub-Commander Carthan of the Korthic patrol ship Bright Scale, the alien said. I speak for a group of Korthic who do not support the raiders and slavers. We want to help hunt down the criminals who have shamed our species. This was something no one had expected. Some of the Korthic were actually good people who were ashamed of what their criminals had done. We know where some of the remaining slaver ships are hiding, Carthan continued. We will share this information with human forces, if they will. Accept our help. Within hours, the message was forwarded to Earth Command. The response came back quickly. The humans would be happy to work with any Korthic who wanted to fight against slavery and piracy. As Veltar watched these events unfold, he began to understand something important. The humans had not just won. They had started something bigger. They had shown the galaxy that evil could be defeated if good people work together. "Captain," Corvin said, "I have been thinking about what happened to us." The humans called their response a kill team, not a rescue team. "I think I understand why now." "Explain," Veltar said. "A rescue team saves you from danger and then leaves. The danger might come back later, but a kill team does not just save you. It eliminates the threat completely. It makes sure the danger cannot hurt anyone else." Veltar nodded slowly. "So when humans answer a call for help, they do not just solve the immediate problem. They solve the whole problem." "Exactly," Corvan replied. "And now other species want to learn how to do the same thing." 6 months later, Veltar found himself back in the same region of space where the Korthik had attacked his ship. But this time, he was not alone. 3 human ships were patrolling the area, along with vessels from the Zephyrian fleet, the Androni Trade Federation, and even 2 Korthik ships crewed by the reformed members of their species. The Dark Star Nebula, once a haven for criminals, was now a peaceful system where freed prisoners were being resettled on new worlds. The slaver network had been completely destroyed, its leaders captured or killed, its ships turned into scrap metal. "Captain," Zarani said from her station, "we are receiving a distress call." Veltar's heart jumped. "Another emergency?" "Another." "Ship in trouble?" "Put it through," he ordered. The message was from a cargo ship that had broken down near a gas giant. Nothing dangerous, just a mechanical problem that left them stranded. "This is Captain Veltar of the Zephyrian ship Wind Whisper," he replied. "We have received your distress call. Help is on the way." As his ship changed course toward the stranded vessel, Veltar smiled. The humans had taught him something important. When someone called for help, you did not just send a rescue team. You sent whatever they needed to be truly safe. And sometimes that made all the difference in the galaxy. The communication panel chimed with an incoming message from Captain Carter, who was commanding the human patrol in this sector. "Veltar, this is Alex. We see the distress call too. Need any backup?" "Negative, Captain Carter," Veltar replied. "This one looks routine, but thank you for asking." "Any time, my friend. That is what all eyes do." As the Wind Whisper approached the stranded cargo ship, Veltar thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, his people had been victims who could only call for help and hope someone would answer. Now they were part of something bigger. They were part of a growing alliance of species who believed that the strong should protect the weak, that freedom was worth fighting for, and that evil should never be allowed to go unchallenged. The humans had started it by answering one distress call with overwhelming force and unlimited compassion. Now that idea was spreading across the galaxy. Like ripples in a pond. The cargo ship's crew was grateful, but not surprised when multiple ships arrived to help them. Word had spread that this region of space was protected by beings who took the job seriously. As they finished the rescue and prepared to continue their patrol, Veltar made a note in his ship's log that would be read by historians for generations. To come, personal log, Captain Veltar, date 2387.156. Today we answered a distress call and helped a stranded crew get home safely. It was a small thing, but important. We have learned from our human allies that there is no such thing as an unimportant rescue. Every life saved makes the galaxy a little BR.